Welcome to lesson 8-4. Last one before we have our mid-chapter test. This is nothing more than a shortcut section. So if you don't memorize or if you can't remember, this is all shortcuts. So I'm going to tell you to go through and to write these out the long way. So it's special things, special products. Square of a sum means that we're doing an addition problem, x plus y, and we're squaring it. So there's a whole big set of words. Quite honestly, I don't know if I'd write this, but you could. The square of a plus b is the square of a squared, plus twice the product, let me write this, a squared, plus twice the product of a and b, plus the square of b. It's a shortcut if you start off with a plus b quantity squared. Notice that's what I've got. And it shows you, if you draw your distributive property lines, here's the one rule. I would write this part down. You must write out twice. So if we've got a problem like x plus 5 quantity squared, the first thing I'm going to tell you before you even get going is to do x plus 5 and x plus 5. Remember, the squared is repeat multiplication. It tells you how many times you're multiplying these things together. So when you do that, think distributive property, think FOIL, think however you're going to do this. I'm going to do the lines. First times first is x squared. Outsides is x times 5, or a positive 5x. Insides is plus 5x. And last terms is plus 25. Combine these two like terms, 5x and 5x, and you get x squared plus 10x plus 25. So it's this first term squared. It's twice the product of 5 and x. 5 times x is 5x, and double it, you get positive 10x. And it's the last term squared. 5 squared is 25. I never remember the rule, so I just write it out and I FOIL it. Same with square of a difference. So in other words, we've got a difference like x minus y, and we're squaring that quantity. So in words, the square of a minus b, just like this example right here, is equal to the square of a, so there's a squared, minus twice the product of a and b. So notice it's a negative minus 2ab, plus the square of b. I never remember that, so I'm going to tell you, same for this one, write out that difference twice. FOIL it. If you get the pattern, if you understand it, please do it. If you don't worry about it. Just write it out 2 times and do the math. So if I've got, let's do a y minus 4 this time, quantity squared. So write out, remember the 2 tells you how many times you're going to multiply that. So y minus 4 and a y minus 4. So I'm going to do my distributive property or FOIL. Y times y is y to the second. Y times negative 4y is minus 4y. Negative 4 times y is another negative 4y. And negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. Watch that sign for the last. I've got a pair of like terms right here, negative 4y and negative 4y. So when I combine the like terms, I've got the square of the first term minus twice the product of the 2 terms plus the last term squared. I'm not spending a whole lot of time on this one because this is always going to be a shortcut. So please don't do a shortcut if you don't understand it. Last but not least, product of a sum and a difference. So you've got 2 binomials. I'll use different letters. So you've got like an x plus y and an x minus y. One is a sum, addition, one's a difference, subtraction. Here's the nice thing about this. If you watch the signs, the middle terms will always cancel. You'll be left with a binomial for your answer. So it says the product of a plus b and a minus b, so notice I've got that written out right here, is the square of a minus the square of b. It's basically, in FOIL, it's basically the first and the last. The outsides and the insides cancel out. Everything's got to be identical except for the sign. So if we do a math problem, x minus 2 times an x plus 2, and we're going to FOIL this out. I'm going to start with my x, distributive property. X times x is x to the second. X times a positive 2 is plus 2x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times positive 2 is a minus 4. Notice my like terms. Same terms, opposite signs. So what's 2x minus 2x? Big old nothing, right? So we're just left with the x squared minus 4. That one's a good one. If you notice that one, I use that shortcut all the time. The other two, I just FOIL out and combine my like terms. So I got lots of practice. Let's do number 2. So number 2, I've got a squared here. We could do all kinds of crazy stuff, but why not just write out 5x plus 9y? If you want to try the shortcut, go ahead. And then I've got 2 5x plus 9y's. I'm going to repeat multiplication. So I'm going to start with this 5x. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. 5x times 9y. I wanted to do this one because we have different variables. We just stay alphabetical. 9 times 5 is positive 45, and then I'm going to put my x and y on that answer. I'm going to switch over to this 9y. So 9y times 5x, same thing. 9 times 5 is 45 for the number math, and then we've got an x times y, or y times x. Remember, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter what order we go in. 9y times 9y. Math-wise, I've got a positive 81 and a y to the second. One pair of like terms here in the middle. You will find that those guys should be identical. So when you add them together, you end up with a plus 90 xy. Remember, your variables stay the same. Add the coefficients, plus 81y to the second. So let's do problem number 3. 4 is a lot like number 2, only with the minus. So just use your m's and n's just like we did those x's and y's. I've got this second power, so I've got a 3c minus 4, 3c minus 4. Write it out 2 times. Let's do some FOILing. So 3c times 3c, 9c to the second. 3c times a negative 4, negative 12c. Watch your signs. Then I'm going to switch over to this negative 4 times 3c. So negative 12c. Negative 4 times negative 4. Watch your sign there. Plus 16. I've got a pair of like terms with these negative 12c's. So that's going to be a negative 24c. I'm going to bring down my 9c squared and my plus 16. The trinomial for my answer, that is in standard form. And let's do problem number 5. I don't like 6. I think it got a bit ridiculous. Everything's there. There's no squares. Notice it's the exact same terms, 9d and a 4. One's got a plus in the middle, one's got a minus in the middle. So it's a product of a sum and a difference. So let's just start FOILing. 9d times 9d is 81d to the second. 9d times 4 is a positive 36d. Then I'm going to switch over to this negative 4 times 9d. Negative 36d, and negative 4 times positive 4 is a minus 16. Notice my like terms in the middle. What is good about these guys? Opposite signs, right? 36 minus 36 is nothing. So 36d minus 36d is no d's left. So I'm just going to bring down my 81d squared minus 16. Should we do one more problem? Let's do problem number 8. Last one. I've got a 4x squared plus 2, and it's a whole quantity squared. So first thing, I hope there's bells and whistles going off in your head. It's a squared, so I'm going to write this out 2 times. 4x squared plus 2, 4x squared plus 2. Like I said, I don't use the shortcuts because I think it's too much stuff to remember when I know how to do FOIL. So I want to start with 4x squared. This one I want to do because I want to talk about those properties of exponents. So we know 4 times 4 is 16. What's x squared times x squared? Right? Add those exponents. You've got 2 from the first, 2 from the second, so 4x is your multiplying. 4x squared times 2 is plus 8x squared. I'm going to switch over to this 2. 2 times 4x squared is another plus 8x squared. Notice the signs are the same. And 2 times 2 is a plus 4. So I've got my two like terms here in the middle. They don't cancel out because the signs are the same. So what will my middle term be? Remember, your exponent variable stays the same. Just add your numbers. So 16x to the fourth plus 16x squared plus 4. So wrap it all up. Please tell me, what do you think is easier? Using a shortcut, which I didn't do much of, or just multiplying and combining like terms? Explain why you think that. Is it too much to remember? Do you understand the shortcut? Do you like to try to make it as quick and painless? Whatever. So what do you think is easier? And here's your practice problem. I notice I've got the same terms, a 3x and a 1, with opposite signs in the middle, product of a sum and difference. You should get a binomial for your final answer for this one. See you later. Have a good day.